In today's video, we will be going over the full legend of the deltoid-eating doctor himself, Zombie Doctor Strange. No, not even the Sorcerer Supreme was powerful enough to stop the mysterious alien virus that transformed him and the other superpowered beings of his dimension into undead cannibals. Like some of the other heroes that we have covered, Zombie Doctor Strange did in fact appear in the Zombies episode of What If, where he, Iron Man, and Wong gobbled up Ebony Maw and Cole Obsidian in the streets of New York and set their sights on a very human Bruce Banner. However, just before they got in a nibble, Banner is soon saved by the Wasp, who came in and summoned a storm of insects which proceeded to rip Strange and the other zombies apart. R.I.P. buddy, you may have been undead, but that goatee was still fresh to death. We have also gotten a very interesting and exciting glimpse at what appears to be Zombie Doctor Strange in the latest teaser for the new Doctor Strange movie, The Multiverse of Madness. Now, I am not sure what the context is just yet for this character. As mentioned previously, the Zombie Doctor Strange of the What If universe did in fact die. Maybe this is another one from a multiverse more similar to the Marvel Zombies comics. Perhaps his existence can be a potential introduction to the upcoming Marvel Zombie show that we are getting this year. Man, I hope so. I'm really looking forward to that show. I'm looking forward to that more than anything else this year. Please, Zombie Santa, that's all I want for Christmas. With the Marvel Zombies coming to the mainstream, what better way to celebrate than breaking down each of their bloody stories of their comic universe variants. Comic Zombie Doctor Strange's tale is not nearly as long as some of the others that we have covered, but it's still a magical good time while it lasts. So without further ado, grab some coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the full gory story of Zombie Doctor Strange. Who is he? Zombie Doctor Strange, like most of the heroes and villains of this dimension, was infected with a bizarre alien virus that mutated him into an undead but still intelligent cannibal. He made his first appearance in the pages of Ultimate Fantastic Four number 22 back in 2005. He comes from Earth 2149, but his origins pre-infection are very similar to his main universe counterpart from Earth 616. That all changed one fateful day when the Marvel Superman the Sentry was infected with the virus and found his way to this dimension when he crashed in the middle of New York. Colonel America and a group of Avengers came to investigate, only to discover that their buddy came down with a real bad case of rabies, where he then ripped through the heroes, infecting them with the disease. The new and improved zombie Avengers then went throughout all of New York, eating every terrified citizen in sight. You think they got the guy who was all concerned that Spider-Man stole some guy's pizza in Spider-Man 2? I hope not. I still think about that guy regularly. As the pandemic spread, Steven and the other non-infected heroes at the time were recruited by Nick Fury aboard the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier so they could form a battle plan. The smart guys like Tony Stark and Reed Richards were tasked with finding a cure and a way out of this dimension, while Strange and the rest were sent to the streets below to battle the zombies and rescue survivors. Hard as they fought, Strange and the others were quickly overrun by the growing zombie army, causing them to retreat back to the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier. However, the heroes could not even stop for snacks and go for a bathroom break in peace, for Reed Richards had went crazy during this time due to him losing his children to a zombie She-Hulk. He then gave up on finding a cure and decided that becoming a zombie was much more fun. He then infected his fellow Fantastic Four members with the virus, who in turn infected him. Hey man, just because you want to be a zombie doesn't mean they want to be a zombie. You need permission slips for this sort of thing. Someone call Zombie OSHA on this guy. The new zombie Fantastic Four then set their sights on Tony Stark's multiverse portal that he had just finished, so he and the survivors could escape to another world. A terrified Tony went to grab his armor to stop his friends, but was quickly overpowered and infected by the Frightful Four. While the gang nibbled on the billionaire, a quick-thinking Nick Fury pushed the portal through the nearby corridors and sealed off the doors. Man, that was good thinking on Tony's part to put wheels on this thing. Imagine he had bolted it to the floor and Nick Fury goes to push it and just falls over. Not gonna lie, that would be terrifying, but kinda hilarious too. Fury then pushes the machine to the end of the hallway, where he just so happens to run into Strange and the others who had retreated from the previous battle. He then seals the doors, locking he and the remaining heroes in with the multiverse portal. Knowing that this was the end of their world, Fury then has Thor destroy the device in order to keep Otherworld safe from the harm of this hellish disease. Upon pulverizing the portal, Zombie Reed and the other Frightful Four members then make their way through the room where they gobble up Fury and infect Strange and the others, adding more players to the undead army. Come on, Strange. Man, you went one-on-one with Thanos and held your own. You mean to tell me you had no spells to keep these dudes at bay? I'm not smart, but I at least would have done that cool spell where you tie him up in those rubber bands or whatever those are. I mean, then you could just tippy-toe right by him. But hey, that's just me. Later on, things take us to Ash Williams, yes, the same Ash Williams from the Evil Dead movies, who too had found his way to this earth after getting smacked here by the zombie sentry at the gates of heaven. Believing he had a way to stop this virus and save the day, Ash teamed up with the still human Scarlet Witch and X-Men Dazzler, where they sought out Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum. It is here that Ash believed they would find the evil living book called the Necronomicon, which would help use its magic to reverse the plague. Upon entering the Santorum, the group came across a zombified Dr. Druid who was munching on poor Wong. Wong, you always pick the best time to leave and then decide once to stay, and now you get eaten by a zombie. Wong, for all our sakes, just pick a nice cozy beach and chill there forever. We don't want to see you get hurt. Putting his boomstick to the good doctor's head, Ash and the gang find one of Strange's evil books that tells them that the Necronomicon that they are looking for currently resides at Dr. Doom's library in Latveria. Wanda then leads the group to the Avengers Quinjet, which they then fire up and head to Doom's fortress. Upon arriving at the castle, Doom begrudgingly lets the group in, where he then reveals that he was harboring a large group of survivors and his scientists were working on a portal of their own to get everyone to safety. Before everyone could settle down for tea and crumpets, they are then rudely interrupted by zombie Doctor Strange and hundreds of other hungry heroes who sniffed out the zesty survivor flesh. The zombies then storm the castle, and Ash used the distraction to book it to Doom's library, where he located the Necronomicon. He and the book then work together to resurrect the half-eaten bodies left behind by the zombies, which they then transformed into their own Deadite army. The Deadites then rolled them to the scene, where they went to war with Strange and the others. See, zombies? This is what you get for not finishing your food. While the Deadites were no match for the mystical powers of Strange and the others, it gave Doom just enough time to get Ash and the others through the portal, where he then blasted the machine to pieces. Being 0-2 on dimensional portals, Zombie Reed Richards used these rotten lemons to make undead lemonade, and then used the parts from this device to repair the one initially made by Tony Stark. He then used it to contact a young version of himself from the Ultimate Dimension, who he tricked to come to the Zombieverse. Leaving the multiversal door wide open, young Reed strolled through, only to get jumped by the decaying version of himself. Barely getting away with his life, young Reed managed to escape to the nearby sewers. Thinking that the coast was clear, the dude poked his head out, only then to be webbed up by Spider-Man and cornered by Doctor Strange and a whole harem of hungry heroes. Man, I can only imagine this group right here smells like feet dipped in armpit sweat, wrapped in week old onions. But somehow probably even worse than that. Thinking this was the end, Reed said his prayers, but he and the zombies then noticed an entire fleet of cars then gather in the sky. Realizing this was a car show from hell, the zombies quickly panicked as the vehicles began crashing to the ground below. The assault came from Magneto, who arrived to save the young Reed from the cannibal clutches. A series of vehicles sadly came thundering down upon poor Doctor Strange, squashing the poor dude and his cape to bits. I actually feel almost kind of sorry for him here. He looks genuinely shocked. No amount of magic that's gonna stop several tons of steel falling on your head. I'm sorry, bro. Little ibuprofen, fix you right up. Reed and the last few survivors with Magneto eventually managed to escape through the portal Reed left open, but Magneto needed to stay behind and destroy the gateway so the Horde could not get through. Upon doing so, Poor Magneto was then cornered by and devoured by the vengeful Avengers. Later on, a select group of the starving supers eventually managed to defeat and eat the Silver Surfer, where they then got his powers and used them to cook and eat the remaining zombie friends. They are then even approached by the World Conqueror Galactus, who had showed up asking why the Surfer was late for work. Vowing to avenge his herald, Galactus went to war with the Cosmic Zombie Bros, who then combined their powers to defeat and eat him. Man, so much happens with these guys. I hope someone's keeping a diary. Upon eating Galactus, the boys then noticed they got his powers as well, which allowed them to travel to space to enjoy a full-on out-of-this-world buffet. Once they left, it would appear that there was no life at all left on the planet. This is where you'd be wrong though, as it was revealed that none other than Zombie Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin, had somehow managed to survive the zombie-on-zombie barbecue. He had worked together with Zombie Jackal to create a human cloning program and thus had an unlimited supply of food for any of the remaining zombies willing to work for him. Man, if anyone can make a profitable business out of the zombie apocalypse, it would be the Kingpin. During their travels, Kingpin's men discovered the body of Doctor Strange buried under the rubble from the fight with Magneto. Shocked he was still alive, Kingpin had them bring the body back, for he knew it could be of use. Nearly brain dead from the attack, the drooling good doctor was still capable of 2 spells. The first was summoning unlimited mana from heaven, which was pretty useless for flesh-eating zombies. Would have came in handy though for the Israelites during the Bible days though. The next, most promising spell was the ability to peer into different worlds. Here Steven revealed the Kingpin a neighboring dimension, which was the main Marvel universe of Earth 616. Using Steven's magic, Kingpin and his men discovered that within the Florida swamps was the nexus of realities which could lead them to this Earth. He then formulated a plan where he sent Zombie Morbius, who disguised himself as the Morbius of this other Earth. Zombie Morbius then beat up and kidnapped his main universe self, where he took over his role as head scientist for the secret group Armor, which was sort of like S.H.I.E.L.D. that helped protect different dimensions from each other. While Zombie Morbius was undercover, the next part of Kingpin's plan was to send our boy Zombie Deadpool through the portal so he can spread some chaos and get some sweet fleshy snacks to alert the attention of the armored groups. A gang of heroes then confronted Deadpool, but were quickly brutally killed by him and the zombies, leaving only Jennifer Kale, who tossed the dude through a skiff, blending his body into little tasty bits. That Deadpool protein shake, anyone? However, his still very much alive and talkative zombie head survived and was taken into custody by Armor agents. Knowing they had a potential zombie invasion on their hands, disguised Zombie Morbius told the Armor agents that he could make a vaccine, but he would need a blood sample from a human of the zombie verse. Falling hook, line, and sinker, Armor scientists then dispatched the robot heroes Machine Man and Jocasta to the zombie dimension to retrieve the blood sample. Upon arriving, the disgusted droids then managed to zap and blast their way through Kingpin's fortress, where they find Wilson's still uninfected wife Vanessa. They get her blood and go to get away, only for them to come across one of the disturbing clone buffets Fisk and his cannibal comrades were having. Totally not cool with this mistreatment of clones, Machine Man activated his instant kill mode and started blowing the remaining zombies to bits. Slicing and dicing his way through the hordes, Machine Man eventually came across the slobbering Strange and his open window to his home dimension. Shocked to discover this, Fisk then revealed himself to Machine Man, and in good bad guy fashion, revealed his whole plan that the vaccine Morbius was making was actually the virus itself and would be injected to this world's heroes, spreading the infection to Earth 616. Man, that is so convoluted, but so brilliant. I love you, Zombie Fisk. Delighted to get filled in on the whole zombie memo, Machine Man managed to escape, where he then stole Ghost Rider's bike and rode it through the cloning lab and blew it up. He and Jocasta managed to get back to their dimension, where Morbius got a little too hungry and began spreading the infection to the armor soldiers. Bro, you never heard of delayed gratification? Some people have no self-control. The robots, with the help of the real Morbius, then managed to defeat the zombies, saving the day in their dimension from becoming another cannibal hellscape. A horrified Wilson Fisk could only look on at his plans fall apart through Doctor Strange's interdimensional HD TV. Having no clones left and the door to their dimension sealed off, Strange and Fisk were left in the zombieverse to starve until the end of time. Or until at least another writer picks this up and decides to bring him back.